Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Right now, we are entirely surrounded by these incredibly powerful algorithms that are seamlessly generating text, writing complex code, and painting digital masterpieces. And I mean, it feels like magic, right? But with all this autonomous generation happening, we are facing a massive fundamental question. Who is the true creator here? Well, as we unpack our sources today, we're going to uncover the framework for why the human operator is intentionally kept in the loop of these complex systems. And more importantly, why you, the human, are actually the only true constant agent driving them.
But first, look, we've got to completely shatter a modern myth right out of the gate, the myth of the AI creator god. There's this pervasive idea floating around that there's a ghost in the machine, conjuring up these masterpieces out of thin air. But as the philosopher Hannah Arendt points out, true creation requires praxis. And what is praxis? It's an active, engaged doing that is completely inseparable from lived human experience. Our sources argue that artificial intelligence completely lacks an inner self. It doesn't have any biological friction. Think about it. It's never stubbed its toe, it doesn't feel joy or grief, and it fundamentally lacks the internal drive required to actually express a real human thought.
So, if it's not a creator, what is it? Our sources use this brilliant term, a scriptor, or what we might call a von Neumann Babelfish. It's an incredibly sophisticated vessel, sure, but it basically just ingests massive databases and blindly recombines pre-existing language. Based purely on statistical probabilities. It's predicting tokens at blazing speeds, but it possesses absolutely zero true intent. It honestly doesn't comprehend a single pixel or word that it renders.
To really grasp this, let's begin our descent into the machine, moving from cold silicon down to smart contracts. See, down at the actual silicon level, specifically inside the arithmetic logic unit, or the ALU, there is no messy emotion. There are no abstract concepts. There is only strict deterministic execution. To truly understand this cold math, the sources point to a concept by the cryptographer Nick Szabo, the vending machine primitive. A vending machine is basically the ultimate, primitive smart contract. You put $1 in, you press a button, and a soda comes out. Boom. There is no judge sitting inside that machine deciding if you deserve the soda today. It operates purely on inflexible binary logic. It is a perfect execution of rules, completely devoid of human grace.
And we can see this primitive logic perfectly illustrated today by SudoSwap. It's an automated market maker, or AMM, for NFTs. Instead of haggling or negotiating with another human being, users swap assets instantly with a liquidity pool. It is pure, deterministic execution. The smart contract acts as the ultimate, unfeeling vending machine, executing buys and sells instantly, without a second thought. To see exactly how rigid this math is, just take a look at how SudoSwap uses bonding curves to dynamically price assets. If you buy from a linear pool, the price goes up by a flat mathematical delta. If it's an exponential pool, it goes up by a strict percentage. And the XYK model maintains a constant product of two virtual reserves. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that the price adjusts algorithmically, based strictly on supply. There's no back and forth, there is no negotiation. This is what pure rigid machine math actually looks like in practice.
These interfaces are the literal embodiment of strict digital formalization. When a liquidity provider sets their starting price and their delta, the code executes exactly as it was written. It literally does not care if you are having a bad day, or if the overall market is crashing, or if the outcome feels unfair to you. The machine just executes the exact parameters it was given.
Which brings us to a massive, desolate gap. Let's explore the void, the missing human spirit.
To really understand this void, we have to ascend from silicon back up to biology. Our sources bring in a super profound lens from Taoist philosophy, the concept of Shen. Shen is the spirit, the vitality, or the magical efficacy that regulates life. Now, while the texts point out that AI might mathematically mimic a Qi-flow network or model a brain, it entirely lacks Shen. Because Shen isn't just an algorithm or a piece of software you can upload. It is deeply fundamentally embedded in bodily transformations, social interactions, and lived biological friction. It is the true inner drive.
And tied directly to Shen is this idea of Ziran, which translates to spontaneity or self-sonus. It's our ability to act in accordance with natural patterns. According to the framework we're exploring today, humans navigate our constantly changing reality using a kind of yin-yang intelligence. It's a spontaneous flexibility that allows us to adapt to continuous, totally unpredictable friction. Rigid machines driven by strict binary Boolean logic absolutely cannot grasp Ziran.
So, we're faced with this stark, unavoidable contrast. On one side, we have our human cognition, what we can playfully call OS alpha. It's messy, it's probabilistic, deeply associative, warm, and highly creative. And on the exact opposite side, we have the machine's ALU, rigid, deterministic, strictly mechanical, cold, and entirely binary.
So how do we fix this? That brings us to the central architectural question of our explainer, the semiotic bridge, connecting mind to silicon.
How do we safely bridge this massive divide between our messy, boundless imagination and deterministic physics? Well, the sources map it out in 3 specific steps. Step 1, the human pilot establishes the root intent, driven entirely by their Shen. Step 2, that messy desire is translated into explicit text or code. The sources beautifully call this a divine script, kind of like a command line interface. And step 3, the machine reads that text and seamlessly executes a deterministic strike in the ALU. Text is basically the only safe translator we have between human desire and physical machine reality. But listen, crossing this bridge carries a heavy burden. Have you ever wondered why tech companies intentionally keep you, the human, in the loop? It's because of a harsh legal reality called agentic tort. When you command a deterministic AI scriptor, you are assuming full liability for the outcome. Because the AI is just a guessing scriptor, it sometimes guesses wrong, right? It hallucinates. So tech companies actually use human operators as a moral crumple zone. Just like a car's crumple zone absorbs a physical impact in a crash, you are placed there to absorb the legal and societal impact when the system inevitably fails. All right, it is time to stop acting as a passive shield. Let's talk about the ascent, becoming the sovereign pilot. To take back control, we really have to become the ultimate orchestrators of the machine. The sovereign pilot maintains this control through what traditional copyright law calls the sweat of the brow. You literally have to engage in active protortion, forcefully steering the machine and rejecting its random distortions. When the AI generates what the sources call an automated miasma of bad data, you must manually realize the outputs. You have to roll up your sleeves, physically edit the text, perform substrate pruning, and manually override the noise. You are the one bending that rigid machine execution back to continuous truth. The sources summarize this dynamic absolutely perfectly. The human pilot applies the intent, but the agentic cell executes the sweat. Make no mistake, the machine is an incredibly powerful tool. It does the tedious, heavy computational lifting, but it has no Shen, it has no Ziorin, it is merely the brush doing the mechanical rendering. You, the human orchestrator with your lived experience and your moral mandate, remain the undeniable painter. Which leaves us with one final, provocative challenge for you to chew on as we wrap up the explainer today. As we rush headfirst into this era where algorithms can seemingly generate anything and everything, what role are you going to play? Are you going to sit back, act as a moral crumple zone, and remain a passive consumer of automated guessing? Or will you actively wield your Shen, apply the sweat of your brow, and take the wheel as the sovereign pilot of your digital reality? The choice of authorship is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me, and keep questioning the systems around you.